Alrighty, I'm back with a new project, and as you can see from the box and from the thumbnail, I've gone and bought a kid's bike trailer slash jogger thing. You put two little kids in it, and you can either pull it behind the bicycle or you can use it as a stroller or a jogger. Now, I'm normally landscaping, that's what I do most of the time, or a bit of woodworking, but I do like to try new projects. And so this is, you might think, okay, well, what I'm going to do with this, I do want to make some modifications to it. And what I'm going to do, I'll explain a little bit later. So I'm first going to unbox the bike trailer. And so this one comes from Gymplus, just an online, there's no brand that they advertise. I see that it says Yosia. I don't know if that's actually the name of the trailer. It wasn't expensive compared to some of the others, like the Thule or Chariot ones, but it did look like it had reasonable reviews. The Kmart ones are just looked a little bit cheap and nasty. But the main reason I got this one was just what I'm planning to do with it. How it's put together is going to probably be most suitable, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So let me go get my box cutter and we'll get going. Yeah, so you can see the instructions in the book. They're in color, not half decent. I think most of this is assembled. I'm not sure why there's so many reflectors, but I guess it is for kids, so safety first. All right, so bolts for the back ones. This is because these are designed to be put into the back of your car so you can go to the park or whatever. They have made these quite easy to put in. So you've got a little button here, just a quick release. So you saw that one, they just clipped on, it just goes in. Let's have a look here. Alright, so that's it in, and just push the button and pull it out. So later on we can just see how long it takes to actually fold this darn thing up. So alright, we're going to set it up as a jogger first, because I don't have my bicycle yet, but I do have a bicycle and I do intend to use it behind my bicycle too. Alright. Alright, so these are for the sides. Easy on and off. Oopsie. It's pretty easy. Alright, so that's the first part of the jogger put together. I'll get to these reflectors in a bit, and the straps and whatnot. In terms of sturdiness, I guess it's not too bad. There's a little bit of a wiggle in here, which I think you would expect in most of them. I mean, it was pretty easy to put together. Didn't probably look like I was really slow. It probably was a little bit. And so let's get to the side here. Now the jogger is obviously designed for jogging because there's no movement in the wheel, or very little. At least it's meant to go straight, so you only can make really subtle movements at a time. You can't go and make a sharp corner, or so that's where the strollers come in. So these are the stroller wheels. So this is like a 3-in-1, you could say. So this one's meant if you're going for a jog and you're just getting down the path. This one, I assume these jogger wheels is clipping here. So I can find the hole. Not very good at finding holes. So you would obviously, that would be if you wanted to take it for a stroll. So these seem to clip out pretty easily. I mean, in some ways it's good that it's stiff, because if it wasn't, you'd obviously have more play inside. So then that one's designed to, you know, if you're taking the kids to the market or something like that, you can, you know, negotiate around people on that a lot easier. So these are supposed to be mud flaps of some sorts, or wheel guards. So that sort of comes in. Now, in terms of storage, you know, you've got a basic 5-point harness for the kids. I've got a 5 and a 3-year-old, so I think they'll fit fine in here. They're probably, my kids are small. I think maybe another 2 years and our daughter might be a bit big, but our son should be fine. Now, I haven't mounted this is the bicycle fit in, and I haven't quite figured out. This comes, it's got to do with the bicycle piece. That one's going in there, and that's your bicycle piece. So that just hooks up on, you'll have to unscrew your wheel and then put that through. So I think the good thing about that one is that it's not a screw that's actually sitting in the frame, which I've had a problem with the bike seat before it actually broke. This is just relying on it's seating on the dropout, and yeah, so there's some level of movement in there. Sort of like, is this like a spring in there? So there's some level of, and yeah, so it's got a bit of movement that is just going to allow for any bumps, and so when you're moving around and you're going over rough terrain, I'm assuming that's sort of just going to help that a little bit. And then it's got like a bit of a safety. I would assume this is some sort of safety catch. So if something had to shear off, or a screw had to come loose, at least this is like a, you know, a backup that, you know, the trailer wouldn't be left around and run into the road or something like that. So so that's good. I would have probably thought of that. And in terms of the quality, now somebody did say that the actual, it's got some sort of waterproof rating, but it's actually pretty minimal. So I think it's good for like drizzle, is what they were saying. But I mean, I'm not going to really go out with the kids in the rain. It's just when you have an unexpected shower, I think it's just enough to keep them dry for a short while until you get home. but it's definitely not designed to be used in the rain. It doesn't have a waterproof rating. So the material's pretty good. I like the zips. There's a bit of a seal on the zips. It's I guess it does help with that. This is a material, and this side too. I mean, water's going to run off that. That can't obviously go through that. And but you can roll it up. Let's have a look here. I assume that there'd be, yeah. And so there's a Velcro piece here, and they've got these little elastic pieces to roll them up. So you can go with a mesh, and you've got a ventilation one over here, the top here, so you can open that for some fresh air. You've got a little pocket there for something, a little pocket there. It's not a whole lot of packing space, I suppose. Alright, so I'll bring this around like this. It does have a little pocket there and a pocket there, which is good. So, good for a water bottle or something like that. Maybe, yeah, so there's actually a heap of space at the back here. That's pretty cool. So I don't know if you can see in there, but so, you could put a kid's backpack in there. And for me, the main purpose was to, be able to take the kids to school in this. And yeah, so I think there's quite a bit of space in there. You can definitely put 2 kids' backpacks in there, and so that's pretty handy. Here's the sort of little handbrake, so you can you can push that in there, and that's sort of, oopsie. So that holds the brake in place, and then obviously that clips it out. So the brake seems to be pretty effective. I'd have to test it down here, but it's not going anywhere. I think that's, might need a bit of a tighten, because I'm a bit like anything, a few adjustments always go a long way. Like say there's, this rolls up, you've got these little bands here, so once you roll them up, you obviously just tuck them in there. Then, just to give a bit of a better, I'll just turn it around to the light, that'll make it a bit easier. Right, so that's, not sure what this is for, why that's, alright, so that's the inside. That's pretty good, I think. The quality of these look decent. Like, I wouldn't say this is cheaply made. So, I think, I'll get to the price in a bit, but I think relative to what some of the others cost, this is pretty good quality. Like I said, you can see the 5-point harness. You can adjust. That's pretty obvious. All right, so what I'm going to do, because I guess part of the point is to understand. I mean, this is meant to fold up and put in your car. So I'm going to take it apart and see how easy that goes. And so, how easy it's going to be to pack in the car and take out. So that's, all right, well, I think that was pretty easy. If you're a really small person, you might struggle to pick it up and put it in your boot. It's not terribly heavy, but I think it's just awkward. Obviously, you'd probably, you'd put these without the wheels in. I'm not awfully strong, but I'd be able to pick this up and put it in pretty simply. I think without the wheels, put these aside. It's not all that heavy. It's pretty simple to pick up. It's probably 5 kilos, maybe a bit more. So let's see how we go putting it back together. There we go. Simple. It's got 2 buttons on each side here, so you just put them in, lift that up. I suppose it's got different height settings, which is good. So we'll put that over there. Let's see, that wheel's in there. It's down here. Come on. There we go. Alright, so that one took a little bit of time to click in. Not sure why. Give it a bit of time, I suppose. Yeah, so I think the way with the stroller, I suppose you'd have to be careful over time, because because these are at a right angle. If you hit enough bumps, I think these might bend, or you sort of compromise the integrity. I know that because our pram has done that. It's starting to get all unusable to some extent. So putting it back together is pretty simple. It's, I think pretty easy. It just lets you store it away as well, I suppose. You don't necessarily have to, fold it down just to put in a car. So if you do want it to take up less space. So in terms of quality, I think I'd probably give it a good 8 out of 10. I think these sort of rubber things that cover, which is common what you see, they tend to perish and split very quickly. But, a bit of tape or get some new ones. I think this is just sort of a standard thing you can buy. The zips feel pretty good. Like I say, there's a sort of a seal that goes over them, which is, I think, pretty helpful for if there's a bit of rain. This is Australia, so I'm not sure how it's going to hold up in the sun. Yeah, things don't last very long in Australia, so so I think in terms of putting it together, at least an 8 or a 9. I think that's pretty simple. Quality wise, I'd give it an 8. There's a bit of it's a bit bumpy. There seems to be a UV protection. If you look at the color through here, it's got a different color, so there must be some sort of UV coating, I think. I think I saw that in the advertising for it. I like the color. I think the color's cool. Because you've got a grey, I don't think it's going to fade. If it does fade a bit, it's not going to look as bad. It will fade, and blue tends to fade too, and that's just part of it. I think it will hide the dirt well, that it's grey, this sort of stuff. It's got, decent tyres. It's got a bit of movement. And it's got the shock absorbers over here, so it's supposed to, it's supposed to be a little bit of movement, that's a little bit of actual shock absorbent action gain on there. I see there's actually a hand. I actually didn't notice that until now. But there's a foot brake down here. So that's pretty helpful if you don't want to use this one. Both seem to work. I'm not sure what the mechanism is. Yeah, so sort of a last comment on the quality. I think, uh, if I look at all the little steels and welds and that, I really think it's pretty good. I'm not going to complain. I think you can't really get yourself much better than that. And definitely for just $100 more, I think I got a much better product than I would have from Big W. So I did say Kmart earlier. Actually, it was Big W that had sort of a $250 version, but it just looked very clunky, and yeah, the reviews were not good. But saying that was one review of somebody that said, okay, well, it can't turn when it does the jogger. Well, I don't think it's really designed to, and that's why this one's so good, having the stroller wheels, that you can sort of take it to a market, or you know have a bit of a wander around, and having more maneuverability. The wheels, these are like solid rubber wheels. These obviously got tubes in them. It'd be a standard size. Um, I can't see getting punctures that easily. I don't know. But it's a standard bicycle wheel, so whatever you would manage your bicycle, you do the same. Um, yeah, so I'll give it a test with the kids at a later stage, and then yeah, I haven't. I mean, I haven't. I'm not going to sit and put the bicycle piece on, but I assume that all works okay. Um, it all looks pretty solid. But like anything, I think if you're going to go over a bad bump or something, and driving really rough terrain, it's just not going to last. Hey, it's just going to get ruined. So I think these things are designed for driving on pathways and on a road. So yeah, it's not exactly put it on a an e-bike with and ride it off road. I think I don't think the kids are going to enjoy that. But yeah, overall I think it's great, and yeah, I think it's worth its money. So go check out the link. I don't know if they ship overseas, but I assume it might just be an Australia-based jogger. But if you see one like this on another website somewhere else that looks like this, well, it'd probably be the same one from the same factory. So, all right. So, what don't I like about it? Not too much. I think um, one thing. I think this little system over here to roll this up, I think could have been improved. I'm not sure why. Some elastic in here, but then there's a Velcro. So I'm not sure you're supposed to. So there's a Velcro in there, and then you can choose to roll it up more. I don't know. That seems a little bit clunky. Very small thing, but um, I think it's actually really hard to fault. I mean, this is hard to get out. If you wanted to take it as a jogger somewhere. The thing is, like I said earlier, if you're not going to have a nice snug fit, then you're going to get a lot of movement. So I think it's better that it's snug, but it is difficult to get out. And getting this wheel onto to get the little latches in there that keeps it in place, it was a little bit painful. But um, I think it's not waterproof rated. It could have come with a cover, maybe having a cover, because you've got lots of space. That would have sort of taken it up a notch. I suppose you can make your own cover if you really desire, or I don't know, take a piece of plastic. But a cover, that would have been one thing. I don't know, I like the color and that. Maybe color's not for everybody. It will fade, so that might just be one thing. But then, if you have something light, then, it's just going to show up dirt. I'm not sure what it's going to do when you jog in terms of, if it needed a sort of a mud guard or something. But that's something quite trivial. I think the shock absorbers, I guess there's not a whole lot of movement. It's not soft, like I think it's still going to bounce around on bumpy terrain and that. So I think maybe that could be refigured. Yeah, so I guess the kids are going to be the one that are going to tell you, it's pretty rough, or they don't mind. I think it'll just be fun. I don't think they'll be so they'll be loving it. Once the novelty wears off, I think maybe they'll be like, "Oh, Daddy, it's so bumpy." But we'll see. I think, yeah, I can't really fault it really. Yeah, I think it's pretty good, and I like that there's pockets. So I was wondering, I wasn't too sure if they have storage, which there is. So which is good. There's storage in there. There's storage in there. There's storage at the back, like I showed you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I think the thing is, I've got to use it, and I think all the faults, particularly the bicycle attachments, how's that going to work? So really, have to be like a follow-up video to really iron out all the bad bits and pieces. But anyways, I'm not going to focus on that. I am going to focus on what I'm planning to do with it. So now, what am I going to do with this? So we live in a really hilly area, and we do like to go out for walks. It just can be a little bit hard with the kids, pushing them in prams. Particularly, we live at the top of a hill, so always at the end of the walk is the hardest part. So anyways, what I want to do is, I do want to put a hub motor on here. So I want to sort of replace this section in terms of the jogger, and put a new frame in. Now, when I looked at this online, I did think that this was a square sort of tubing in here. And if you look at, I'll just find this piece. So if you look at this piece, it's not. So it's flat over there and rounded over there, which I think I can deal with. I'm gonna have to see how I work that around. So that was the reason. When I looked online, I was like, okay, well, if I want to replace, I think I can buy a like for like with the dropout, yeah. So I think you can get a 16-inch hub motor, and I could probably try and work something with this. But I didn't want to modify the actual jogger, these pieces. I thought, well, if I can just pull this out and I can build my own one and I can just put it in, and the other part was I need something for the controller and the battery, and so it would be pretty boring if I just bought a motor and fixed it onto here. I think it'd be more fun building something, and yeah, so I think that'll be more exciting, particularly for anybody watching. So the thing is, there's a bit of an angle here. It's going to be a bit of I'm going to have to figure things out. This angle that's going down might be helpful because I think this might be a 16-inch wheel, but I believe the hub motor is coming in a 16-inch rim. So the hub motor that I get will most likely be slightly bigger, which means if I go level, I actually might maintain the height of the jogger. So I don't want it to go, sit like that particularly. Maybe a bit low is okay because some weight on the front is going to be better. I did think about, trying to find something for the size. So I looked at different joggers, and ideally you have two hub motors at the back or one. I don't know if it would pull, but considering the complexity of having a side axle, it's easier just to buy a hub motor that's designed for a bicycle as a certain dropout which is this width over here, and you just either build something for that dropout or you just replace it. Now the replacement one, there's one for Brompton, which is what I had a look at, and it's quite a bit more expensive, strangely enough. But like I said, I think it's just going to be fun to be able to make something, and I'm not I weld a little bit, but I need to figure it out again. And yeah, so that's the plan. Put a hub motor in, get a battery and the controller, run the throttle to the top there. most of them come with the sort of an e-brake system. I'm going to leave the brake on there, which is obviously works just fine, but may have another handle just for the e-brake. Maybe that's works better. We'll have to see. Some of the controllers, you can set your speeds and that sort of thing, so it brakes automatically or accelerates, but that will have to be figured out later. So that's the plan. Put a hub motor in, and what it means is as well, which is cool. I think you can just you can actually go for a jog, and pushing two small kids around, it's difficult when you're going uphill. So you're more inclined to go for a walk, or we'll have like a jog behind it. I do run a little bit, not too much, and so I think that'd be fun. And so I'm gonna have a look at this, figure out what I need, and then I'll have to order that probably from AliExpress. That might take a few weeks to get here. In the meantime, I can start building the frame because I'll know what sizes I'm dealing with, and so I'll design that. I might do a video just of how I design that on SketchUp or something equivalently, or AutoCAD. I think it should be pretty simple. It may be a bit longer, I think, because I'm going to have something for the hub motor, and I don't really want it protruding too much. I'd rather have some sort of triangular effect. So the wheel might be over here somewhere rather than over there. Anyways, I'm going to figure those out, and then there'll be this is just the unboxing one. I'll be a part one and explain what I'm going to do and how I designed that, and then we'll go from there, and hopefully I can figure it out, and hopefully it works to get some traction. Otherwise, we'll just make modifications and see how we go. All right, well, thanks for watching that, and I'll drop a link of the jogger for those, I guess, in Australia that are keen on buying one. I think it's worth its money. I think I paid about $350 for it, with including postage, and so the good quality ones are around the $700 or $800 mark. So I think for something that's just above the cheapest, I think it's really good. And you've got the stroller, the jogger, and the bicycle trailer, because some of them are only just designed for as a trailer or jogger. So the fact that you actually have the stroller wheels, I think that's pretty cool, and I think the quality is nice. And so I definitely recommend them. And so thanks for watching, and we'll see you for part one of the hub motor jogger conversion thing build. Anyways, thanks. Cheers.